Here's a story. Imagine waiting on an Uber and a stranger posts your BBL online. You wake up the next day and you're viral. Starting from 17 years old in search of the perfect body, you go from this to this. From the body you hated to the body everybody wants, and now back to the body you hate all over again. In the age of plastic surgery, when is enough enough? Trapping Anonymous. How many surgeries have you had?
Okay, so I had three BBLs, a breast reduction, and the weight loss surgery, and one more. What was the? Oh, and implants on my titties.
When you first came off that table,
I remember standing like this in front of the mirror, and I was like, oh my god! And I just started. It was a beautiful look. My hair stand up. I will never forget that. Like I'm forever grateful for that doctor. He changed my life.
So, so I would like to give credit to Breakbeat Media, for the story source and whatnot. But basically, it's about this woman, from New York, who went viral for having a massive BBL. That's a Brazilian butt lift. For anyone that's been on the rock for the last decade or so. It's been, it stands for Brazilian butt lift and shit. I don't know if the shit came from Brazil. Anyway, I was watching this video. Well, that's not to look at this woman's uh, not so huge ass or whatnot, but at the time, the reason for the video is that she went viral. Someone filmed on the street, and she had this humongous BBL, right? It's like giant, it's big as fuck. And I had done a video a while back where I was laughing about a sister that was like badly built and she had like this giant BBL and shit. I think she was a non-foundational sister and shit. And I was juxtaposing that with a Latin woman that had just simply wore like a girdle and a fitted girdle that get the same effect. And telling a humorous story and shit. But I was looking at this thing and what caused me to make the video was, or make this commentary was that, I found out that in that clip she was 17 years old, and I just don't understand. I don't understand why she couldn't just get some therapy and shit. She's Dominican, and she has an extremely thick accent. It's thicker than molasses and shit. It's literally a chore listening to her speak and whatnot. And then she's, I don't know if she's educated or not, but she uses a lot of street language and shit. I don't want to come off sound like some kind of uptight, prick or something. I don't want to sound like a prick, even though I'm the geek underground. We know how I roll on this, this platform. I don't want to sound like that, but very hard listening to her speak. And when she used this shitty language, I had a disparaging, point of view. Okay, I won't say she left a bad impression, but I understand. I've met my fair share of Dominicans, and I say a third of them had this accent, so it was no big deal and shit. It's just something else, They're not tripping, but she said that her parents gave her $12,000 to get a, Brazilian butt lift in the Dominican Republic, and shit that it was extremely painful and excruciating, but she didn't regret it, and she started having other procedures done. And the interview, the gentleman interviewing her, he was trying to ask her, if she thought it was a good or bad thing, and she was just saying that she needed it. She didn't do it for anybody else. She did it for herself and shit because she needed it to make her body look right because she didn't line up with other women in her family. She lost in the genetic lottery and she was badly built too. She had like probably a rectangular body and some floppy boobs and no ass and shit. And we know there's some Latin women that's just built like that and shit. I lived on the West Coast with women built like that, and they just was working it and shit, and they still had the same shit going on as women with the better bodies. As far as, my experience goes, I see a lot of, like, really hot Mexican women, and they were dating really hot, Mexican guys, rancheros or whatever, and then everybody else just stacked lined up to how they looked and shit. And sometimes you see like a badass chick with like a kind of nerdy looking guy, but that guy had like tangibles and shit. But it wasn't like our community where the women are constantly talking about relationships. There's some kind of false gene deal, a business partnership, basically selling your soul, your whole ass, and your wallet. All right. I just thought it was fucked up that her parents would. Uh, yeah, I thought it was fucked up that her parents would give her $12,000 if that's actually true to get that procedure done and shit instead of first sending her to therapy for an extended period of time and shit. This is why a lot of women are just totally fucked up and shit because no one has the gall or the balls. A lot of males don't have the balls to tell women no. I've recounted that when I was in my first year of college, did a I didn't do it intentionally, but I did an unintentional shit test on my girlfriend. They told her no, and she raised holy hell, and it was something out of a horror movie. Her reaction to it was escalating. It was an escalation that eventually, down the line, destroyed a relationship and almost. Well, it put me in a situation. I don't want to get too personal. I just thought it was fucked up, that she felt like she needed a humongous ass and shit, And I've known women that had plastic surgery before. Okay, been with women that had plastic surgery. But most of the women that I'm talking about, they were not, they're not black women and shit. Okay, and there were some sisters with some, breast implants, but I was never with anyone with a BBL. And a lot of the women described getting their chest done. They described getting implants, breast implants, as evening out their bodies. So what the women that I was talking to, they had narrow shoulders and extra overly wide hips. The Latin women, they, you know, said, "Oh, I'm just eating it out and shit." And one chick said, "I needed some shit." And I used to laugh with, I joke over with one of these women that, when they start making ass implants, everybody's gonna have a giant ass. And I guess, uh, I guess my words were prophetic and shit. I used to laugh my fucking ass off when they first started coming out with this shit. I noticed it in the adult film industry and shit, particularly two models known to be very slender. I remember their fucking names. Lacey Duval. She was a very relatively thin woman, and overnight she had this humongous, monster-sized ass. It's humongous and shit. And well, Lacey Duval, and I forgot the other one's name. God damn it, bitch with these tattoos on her shit. Oh man, freestyles and shit. Okay, you make of that what you want. That I remember the names, but I remember the reason I remember the names because I had recently cracked that joke about when they start making ass implants. All these sisters out here, some of these sisters be hating on the more well-endowed women. They're gonna just go to the store and get them a giant badonkadonk and shit and have these skinny ass legs and shit. And I remember Jennifer Lopez used to say that when she was a kid, her booty looked like a potato on two sticks and shit. And she full of shit. That her body and Selena was padding and shit. Just to let a lot of people know. I was let down too when I found that out. But like she's a humongous asshole. And sometimes when she gets mad, her accent sounds like this woman in this video, the woman pictured here. You know, yeah, this woman has gotten her proportions under control somewhat, and shit. It's not like it was when it went viral, but it's still sad that no one's brave enough to tell her no or sit down with her and work this thing out or send her to the fucking gym. Say, okay, bitch, lose like over 100 pounds, and we'll work it out after you take a year or two of therapy. She shouldn't have been having plastic surgery at 17 and shit. In most communities, a lot in the minority majority community, a lot of young girls that go in routinely for nose jobs and they go in for nose jobs and boob jobs and shit. Now everybody's getting plastic surgery. Fun fact, a fun story. Just briefly, I'm not going to put nobody on blast. I'm going to give a cease and desist if I go in detail. But a girl that I know was tricked by her mother. She thought she was, I don't know how this worked out, but she thought she was getting a nose job and she ended up getting a breast reduction. It was fucking, And then she came back and tried to gaslight everyone that she didn't get breast reductions. And she obviously had these like smaller boobs. And I just commented on it. She got super mad, and I just had a static reaction to it because I ain't running up in your fucking ass. I don't take no show business from nobody of any color. Okay, and I thought this was fucked up. And this woman sounded so fucking ignorant. She sounded super ignorant. She was using the word titties and all this old shit, and it's a bad look. I'm like, hey, why you getting that BBL, man? You should read a dictionary and a thesaurus, and I hate shit on a bitch, man. But like, it's not gonna, changing your body and everything doesn't change who you are as a person and whatnot. And this shit could work on, making her. She's worried about, fitting in socially and everything, but when she talks, everything just goes right out the window. And what you got there is some plastic bag shoved down the back of your ass.
The Black Patriarchy. A non-existent group of fictional black male power brokers not discredited, erroneously jailed or outright killed by the minority majority who look the other way as they work tirelessly to shame, oppress, and outright take out the altruistic black female populace of the honorable democratic United States of America. 3K's inset bitches. These evil wealthy members of the black patriarchy are the sole reason for all the ills of the black community, walking, talking, holding down jobs, and doing everything up to and including giving their very lives in service to their baby mamas and baby's motherfucking kids. Their motto that strikes fear into the hearts of black women everywhere: bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.